Hello, my name is Siobhan Garvey. You're very welcome to the virtual Burren Food Fair here on Santol Goat Farm on the edge of the cliffs of Burren Geopark. Today I have Maeve from Western Herd Brewery with me, and we're going to be tasting, pairing some of her lovely beers with a range of our Santola cheeses, all under the eye of our beautiful nanny goats here in the goat shed. So, Maeve, you're very welcome.
Thank you, Siobhan. It's lovely to be here.
Very good. It's probably your first time tasting beer in a shed, is it? With
No,
goats?
I've had beer in this shed before.
You have, it's right, for our 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
So, maybe give me a bit of information about Western Herd first of all.
Well, the Western Herd Brewing Company is something similar. We have a brewery in a shed. We've less goats, but it's the same concept. We converted an old hay shed into a brewery, and myself and my brother have been brewing beer in Kilmaley for the last 5 years. 5 years next week.
Very good.
So, yeah, we've quite a range of beers at the moment, and you know, we've done extensive testing with the cheeses. So I think we have a few good pairs here.
Great.
So the whole idea when you're pairing food and drink is you can either complement or you can contrast. So you either clash with the flavour or you go with the flavour. So we have a few examples here of how both work. So
Great.
Which cheese would you like to start with?
So maybe we start with our Santola original cheese.
Very good.
So here, this is, I suppose, our most well-known. It's been made, it was the first cheese that was made by Megan Derrick. So it's got its natural geotrichum rind. This now is about 2 weeks old.
Very good.
But it's a raw milk goat's cheese milk from these lovely ladies. So maybe you just have a piece there, Maeve.
Very good. Actually, I'll pour the beers
pour the
first.
beers.
So we've paired this one with our Blue Jumper IPA. This is a perfect example of how it kind of, you'd have a clash. You wouldn't expect a powerful IPA to go with a delicate goat's cheese, but it works really well. So I'll just pour some here for you, Siobhan. Won't go too mad.
Thank you. Not yet.
Yeah.
We've a few to go through.
So, yeah, we'll grab some cheese.
Cheese, yeah.
So, cheers.
Sláinte.
Sláinte. So the bitterness of this beer really cuts through the creaminess, and the carbonation then cleanses the palate afterwards. But it doesn't overpower the cheese. The cheese still stands up,
No, it's
which
actually-
is
yeah,
it's
yeah.
quite weird considering how powerful this IPA is.
Yeah, because there's a lovely balance between the two of them. It's quite what I
Yeah.
would call a refreshing beer. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
It's not, it's not heavy.
No.
And then with the cheese,
Because the cheese is so creamy, you need something to cut through it. And this beer is, we dry hop it, so at the very end we add extra hops, which gives it that extra bitterness at the back of the throat, which cuts through the goat's cheese quite well.
I think the girls are feeling left out here. They're looking for some beer. So next, maybe we try our Ashlag,
Yeah,
Santola Ash. So just for people who are not aware of the Santola Ashlag, this is actually food-grade charcoal. So it's burnt vegetables that are then rolled on our fresh cheese, and it's a way of locking in. As cheese matures, moisture evaporates, so this keeps in the cheese, the moisture for longer. It gives a nice, fresh and a zesty taste. So what would you suggest with that one, Maeve?
and this is it's another IPA we have. It's Cliff Road. We bring this one out of the summer, and like that, it is very zesty and it's very citrusy. It's a New England style, so you'll see it's quite hazy when we pour it. But in this beer, we focus on the fruity character of the hop as opposed to the bitterness which we had in the Blue Jumper. So you can see straight away the hazy
Cloudy,
profile.
yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot fruitier, and again, it's still strong enough to stand up to the cheese, but allow the cheese to shine at the same time.
Oh yeah, it is definitely more zest in this one.
Yeah. It does actually. The citrus in it really does go lovely with the cream.
Because that Ashlag in particular is now quite salty, quite
Yeah.
acidic, isn't it?
It is, and yeah. But the acidity refreshes the palate as well. It kind of cleanses it so you're ready for the next round.
And is there a way, Maeve, is there a way of drinking beer? You know, with wine, you swirl it in the glass and all this.
Well, with beer, it's all about, you know, the appearance. So straight away, you know the style, the smell. You get the hoppy aroma, but you also get the fruity zestiness on the nose. And with beer, your bitterness receptors are at the back of your throat. So with wine, they encourage you to spit out after you've tasted it. But with beer, unless you swallow it, you don't get the full taste experience because of your bitterness receptors at the back of your throat. So yeah, no spitting for us.
No spitting. Sláinte.
Cheers.
So that was the
Cliff Road.
Cliff Road.
Yeah.
Very good. And we've lots of cliffs in the Geopark. Great.
Yes, we do, and that's exactly what it was called after. We have the cliffs over there on the label.
Very good. So now we move on to our Greek style.
The Greeks,
A feta style cheese, which would be quite acidic, even more acidic again.
Yeah.
This is something often used just in salads, but even a warm salad, you know, with roasted vegetables and that at this time of the year.
Yeah.
So that's the Santol Greek style cheese.
Yeah, and this one we paired with our backbeat. This was one of the first beers we had in the pub when we opened. People were coming in just looking for pints of Kilmaley. They didn't really care what the beer was.
Pints of Kilmaley.
Pints of Kilmaley. This is a Belgian style wheat beer. And we flavour it with orange peel and coriander. So we'll see how it pairs with
and coriander.
Oh, good stuff there for you.
That's quite clear. And how did you come up with, like you say, orange peel and coriander? How did you?
The Belgian monks came up with that a long time before we did. You can have German-style wheat beers, and they don't flavour their beers. So you have a clovey banana flavour off them, whereas this one, it's quite sweet, and there's a nice spiciness as well from the coriander, which again works really well with the cheese. The goats are mad to get in at this one, Siobhan.
Uh-huh. I would call that kind of a lighter.
Oh
Big,
yeah,
is it?
it's much lighter, yeah.
With this pairing now, definitely the Greek, that the cheese comes out stronger of the two, I would say. Whereas the other two were more perfect, were more balanced between the cheese and the beer.
The wheat beer is a much more delicate beer, and the cheese it's a very powerful, briny, salty flavour from it. So this does it still, you know, it refreshes the palate, cuts through the creaminess of the cheese, but the sweetness works really well with the saltiness. And it's quite a traditional pairing to have your feta cheese with your wheat beers, your rice beers. Yeah, I guess they're both more summer style cheeses or summer style products, and these wheat beers are very popular during the summer because they are light.
Right. Yeah. And the last pairing we will do of the cheeses will be with our Tola hard cheese.
Very good.
These beauties here. Now we haven't been making a lot of hard cheese. We hadn't made hard cheese for a number of years because we usually make it in the summertime when the goats are out in grass and we have surplus milk. But one of the silver linings of COVID has been that we had a lot of extra milk, so we were able to make a lot more of our hard cheese. So this hard cheese we have here would have been made in lockdown in end of March, beginning of April. So it's only the last few weeks that we have been cutting it and tasting it and sending it out for sale. So it's I suppose it's kind of a Gouda style cheese.
Yeah.
And it's now, 4 or 5 months old. So it'd be interesting to see what you put with this. This would be a bit stronger type cheese.
This is actually my favourite pairing. Again, we look at what style works best with it. And this one we've paired our Wild Atlantic Red Ale with it. This is a very malt forward beer, so the other ones were, especially the IPAs, were very hop forward. This one focuses more on the malt character, which gives it a chocolatey kind of taste, bready maltiness, and it's much sweeter than the other cheeses, or the other beers, sorry.
Good.
So,
Quite, ooh,
yeah.
look at this. Folks, look at that for colour.
Yeah, that colour comes from the malt, quite a dark malt,
Yes, yeah,
which
yeah.
gives it the sweet chocolatey flavour. And I love this cheese. Like this is, I was texting Siobhan as soon as I discovered this pairing. I was like, you have to try it. So,
Oh yeah,
that's good.
that's perfect.
It's like
Yeah.
nearly, because there's quite a salty flavour in the cheese. So it's nearly like peanut butter and chocolate. It's just works so well together. And it's a real decadent, more like a dessert.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
At the end of a meal, beautiful. And very much this time of the year for the autumn,
it is.
isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
'Cause they're both quite powerful.
The darker beers work much better in the winter months, but yeah, that's just dessert.
Yeah. And this is West. This one is.
This is the Atlantic Red Ale.
Atlantic Red Ale.
Yeah. So yeah, no, this is definitely my favourite of all the
Oh,
pairings.
very good. And if you were just having, say, which of the, like the 4 different ones we tasted,
Yeah.
just at the end of the evening, if you weren't, well, if you had the soft goat's cheese starter, we'd have
The IPA.
the IPA.
Yeah.
But just for a general cheese board at the end of the evening, I suppose it kind of depends on the time of the year, really, the season.
Well, I guess
You're having your hard
as
cheese.
w- you know, normally, traditionally, your dessert would be the sweeter course.
Yes.
So that really goes with any of them. You have your, especially the feta is quite salty as well. So with the chocolate, again, you're contrasting the flavors. So you have your sweetness and you have your saltiness.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, and taste is very subjective. Everybody tastes differently, and you know, some people won't like the IPAs at all because they're quite strong
Yes,
and bitter.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then I personally prefer the darker beers as well,
Yes,
my
yeah,
stouts
yeah.
and my red ales.
Yeah.
So
we were trying out some of your beers there during the summer.
yeah,
And the one that was most controversial was the height.
oh yeah, yeah.
Because we had a family get together after locked it open.
Yeah.
And it was kind of, oh no, too strong, too powerful, so it was left aside and everything else was
Yeah.
quickly devoured.
Yeah.
But then a few months later, I had friends down and the height was the number one. So you say it's all very
It is.
subjective.
It's very subjective.
Yeah,
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 the height
yeah.
it's a double IPA. It's 8%.
Yes.
You're nearly chewing it as opposed to
Right,
drinking
right,
it. It's
right.
quite
Yeah.
it's quite heavy.
Yeah.
But you know, that would be like, you know, starting drinking wine and going straight for a Bordeaux. You kind of
Right.
have to build up to the double IPAs.
Integration, yeah, that's it.
and once you develop a flavour and your palate becomes more used to them,
Yeah.
you know, you do. And then you appreciate the nuances and the different tastes in all of them.
And what we're doing here this evening, it's all a lot of the food. I'm going to ask about another thing. We brought out the Burren Dinners book, and we have a range here. Different producers, different chefs have done, you know, different dishes. So we have a lovely range here, cooked by or baked by Grania and Carmen. So we have this is our pitta with goat kebab,
very
goat
good.
kebab in it. With the Romanian coleslaw and an aubergine dip.
Oh, lovely.
So I'm just kind of throwing this at you now.
Yeah.
And then at dessert we have this lovely chocolate Santol cheesecake.
Yeah, you know that's going to go with the red ale.
And all these recipes are in the Burren Dinners book.
Very good.
But so what would you recommend? Kind of say going with the main course here, which was the
I would imagine that would be quite spicy. So to stand up to the flavour of that, you know, the wheat beer would be lost.
Right.
The IPA would go great with that.
Right.
And we had that here with Sunil from Pickle. His curry, we had the blue jumper, and
Yes.
it was just superb.
yes, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, you need a strong flavour to stand up to the strong, flavour of the.
And
the
obviously
food.
goat, it is a lot. There's kebabs, there's curries in that. So
Yeah.
you get the blue jumper.
The blue jumper, yeah, the IPA.
And then with our chocolate.
Oh, all day long, the red ale.
The red ale,
Yeah,
right,
it would work really well with it.
So thank you, folks. And any questions, you can email either Maeve or myself on our individual websites. And enjoy. And don't forget to look up the websites, because both websites you can buy online, both the beers and the cheese. And we're going to be bringing out a combination of what we've discussed here this evening. So thanks for watching in, and make sure you all come back to the Burren when the time comes. We'd love to see you here.